In this video, we'll complete the discussion on cells by looking at other considerations. For example, one of the considerations you would have is in a cell library like this that you may have copied in from another location or may have brought forward from a legacy workspace is, do the fonts still match? Have you changed fonts? Were the same fonts used from the workspace you copied it in from? If not, you would need to review each of the cells, go through and update the fonts accordingly. To go along with fonts, what about like text styles? So if I come up here to my search and choose text styles, notice that this cell has a local text style in here. So as I brought it forward, there was a text style provided, but there's not really a matching one in this workspace. So do the text styles need to be updated or removed, or how do you want to handle that? So that's another consideration to look at there. Levels are another consideration. If you brought this in from another workspace, you'll want to review and ensure that the levels match your standards. If you've renamed any of your levels, you'll have to go through the cell libraries and update those accordingly as well. Are custom line styles used in any of the cells? It's something you need to be careful of. Custom line styles, it's often best to drop those, because if you're using annotative cells, you don't necessarily want the line styles reacting differently than the cells. Just something to look at there. Same thing with nested cells. I've seen if you have cells within cells or cells referenced in, if they're annotative, I've seen it scale those weird. So just be sure and test things like that if you're using nested cells that are annotative. Dimension styles, I don't have one in this cell or the cell library, but if you do have any cells that have dimensions drawn in them for details or anything like that, just like we check the text styles, you'll want to go through and confirm the dimension styles are up to date, using the right fonts, right scales, right names, things like that. And then when you get all of those things cleaned up, one thing you might want to do is use the batch process utility in MicroStation. Write a little batch file that will go through, delete the unused fonts, delete unused line styles, delete unused text styles, dimension styles, to clean up all of the models in the cell library. And then at the end, you could always have it fit the graphics just so your cells are fit as you go from model to model. And this completes the video on other considerations for cells.